statements made. Good morning and welcome to the Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me in the program for today, Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. This conversation is live via our social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Check us out on Facebook at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation and via YouTube at ZIZ Online. When we open the phone lines, you may call us at 662-8674. That is 662-8674. You may call and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. Let me greet those of you who are also celebrating a birthday today or during the course of the week. And I'd also like to remember those of you who are mourning the loss of a loved one, and I pray that you find comfort during this difficult time. First up, I want to look at St. Kitts and Nevis government assisting the Carifta preparation with a donation to St. Kitts Nevis Athletics. As you know, Carifta will be held in Trinidad and Tobago from the 19th to the 22nd of April. And of course, St. Kitts and Nevis will be represented by a number of our outstanding athletes from across the Federation. As such, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through the Office of the Prime Minister and the Office of the Ambassador of Sports, on April 8th, supported or made a contribution to St. Kitts Nevis Athletics, which is the body taking the athletes to Trinidad for Carifta. So in a handover ceremony, His Excellency Kenneth Douglas, the Ambassador of Sports, officially presented a check to Delwayne Delaney, president of St. Kitts Nevis Athletics. The donation is earmarked to assist local athletes currently in training for the 2025 Carifta Games, scheduled to be held in TNT later this month. This gesture emphasizes the government's investment in the development of young athletes and the advancement of sports in the Federation. Quote, our athletes are a source of pride for our nation. They embody discipline, excellence, and national spirit, said His Excellency Kenneth Douglas. He continued that this contribution is not just about financial support. It is a signal to our young people that their government believes in them, stands with them, and is committed to seeing them succeed on the regional and international stage. The Carifta Games continue to serve as a launch pad for many of the region's elite athletes. With preparations well underway, this donation comes at a pivotal moment as the Federation seeks to ensure its athletes are fully equipped and focused to represent St. Kitts and Nevis with excellence. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis remains committed to creating opportunities for youth empowerment through sports as part of its sustainable island state agenda. And so let us rally around our athletes who will be heading to Trinidad later this month to participate in the 2025 Carifta Games. And I believe there are about 22 athletes who are journeying to Trinidad for the Games. And these are athletes from across the Federation, the various high schools, I think some from the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, Gingerland Secondary School, Charlestown Secondary School, and other secondary schools here on the island of St. Kitts who will be participating in the Carifta Games. So best wishes to them, and we expect them to do their very best and to represent St. Kitts and Nevis well. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining the conversation for today. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at some recent actions taken by the government and the Citizenship by Investment Unit to protect the CBI program. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Askafan's Cloth Store on the corner of Church Street and Liverpool Road is holding a massive sale. Get 40% off all material while stocks last. Askafan's Cloth Store since 1942, always there for you.
Attention educators, the Caribbean Examinations Council's Professional Learning Institute is the platform for professional development across the region. Access free and paid courses on CXC's Professional Learning Institute to improve your skills. Earn micro-credentials and digital badges to elevate learning and teaching. CXC's Professional Learning Institute, preparing passionate people to make a difference. Visit pli.cxc.org for upcoming courses.
Join us every Wednesday for In Focus, a weekly talk show produced by the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, where we provide exclusives with key persons within the government and discuss pertinent, relevant, and interesting matters that affect us all. Tune in every Wednesday, live on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on Facebook at SKNIS Media and ZIZ Online. In Focus, your government, your business.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you once again for joining me on the program for today. We'll open the phone lines very shortly, and you can call us at 662-8674. But I want to bring a topic or a conversation to you, and of course to get your take on it. And it is related to our Citizenship by Investment program. And before I go into what I would want to share today, or into my take on it, I'll read parts of the statement from the government on the actions that were taken, for those of you who are not aware of the actions that were taken. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Citizenship by Investment Unit, CIU, have taken decisive actions to preserve the integrity and international reputation of the Federation's Citizenship by Investment CBI program. Following a comprehensive investigation by the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship, the government has issued the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship Deprivation of Citizenship Order 2025. This order has resulted in the revocation of citizenship from 13 individuals and their dependents who were found to have failed to pay the statutory minimum investment required under the CBI program, despite having indicated otherwise in their applications. The investigation stemmed from a review of 158 redacted applications and contracts with 2 international marketing agents linked to suspicious practices. The ministry contacted 158 identified individuals. Of these, 32 individuals paid their outstanding investment balance. 13 admitted to non-payment of the required sums and took no corrective action. 1 individual requested a hearing before a commission of inquiry, and the remaining individuals are in dialogue with the ministry to settle outstanding investment balances. After careful consideration, exercising powers under Section 8 and 10 of the Citizenship Act to issue deprivation orders in March 2025, the ministry issued the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship Deprivation of Citizenship Order 2025 on the basis of false representation and willful concealment of material facts and in the interest of public good. In tandem with these efforts, the CIU has permanently blacklisted 2 international marketing agents, Latitude Consultancy and RIF Trust, for their role in marketing the CBA program at investment amounts below the statutory minimum and misleading clients, clear violations of the laws governing the program. Clients of both companies confirmed receiving false assurances of special discounts. Both entities are now prohibited from all CBI-related activities and cannot present themselves as agents or affiliates of the program. Additionally, the government has terminated its investment agreement with MSR Media SKN Limited and MSR Hotels and Company Limited following multiple breaches of their contractual obligations. These include failures to renovate and operate key hospitality and tourism infrastructure, employ agreed number of local citizens, and deliver promised film productions. Compounding these breaches, the MSR companies and their principals launched a coordinated international campaign to discredit the St. Kitts and Nevis CBI program and falsely accuse government officials of local and cross-jurisdictional unethical practices, actions wholly incompatible with a constructive partnership under the CBI program or framework. The government reiterates its zero-tolerance policy toward abuse of the CBI program and remains resolute in enforcing its regulations to ensure that only credible, compliant investors benefit from citizenship of St. Kitts and Nevis. That is a statement from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis on recent actions taken as it relates to the CBI program. Now, the recent revocation of the citizenship for these individuals, along with the blacklisting of 2 international marketing agents and the termination of a major investment agreement, for me, signals an important moment for St. Kitts and Nevis. It is a moment that I believe will mark or spark debate, but one that I would say reflects a maturing approach to national interest, the interests of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, at the heart of all of this issue is integrity, in terms of people who made false declarations, people who came to say that they were going to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis, and let's say they promised 1 to 10, but they only went 1 to 4 or 1 to 2. But at the heart of the issue is integrity. And the move, while stern, while it may seem like, well, that's a very firm and drastic measure, is to maintain the international credibility of the program. And of course, in a time when small states are, and small states meaning our countries that are managing or are operating CBI programs, are increasingly under scrutiny for the management of their CBI programs and their CBI frameworks, this course correction appears not only as necessary, but also overdue. We know that CBI is susceptible to international scrutiny and politics. And so, of course, all eyes are on us and will continue to be on us. And so whatever action or actions must be taken to safeguard the integrity of the program and the credibility of the program, that is absolutely important. We've cut ties with MSR Media, and many of you would recall that when MSR Media came to St. Kitts and Nevis, I believe you would agree with me when I say it was an exciting time, because they came, I believe, right in the heart of COVID, or just before COVID, I believe. But they came around that time, and they came and wanted to launch a film industry. And so people who work in the media industry, it would have been an opportunity for them to make a living, especially during a time when there was a lot of uncertainty as it relates to, how people were going to pay their bills, how people were going to provide for their families. And so MSR Media came and they set up shop, and they, say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And it seemed well, it seemed good, it sounded good, and it looked good. It's like, yeah, this is nice. Where are we today? How did we get here? Or to where we were recently? MSR Media was dragging St. Kitts and Nevis through the mud as it relates to our CBI program. Of course, in some cases, raising questions like anybody would. But how did we go from this lovey-dovey relationship to the spoiler confusion at that point in time. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll open the phone lines and get your thoughts on this.
Sunrise Airways is connecting the OECS. Fly to and from Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Kitts, and Antigua with seamless onward connections. Enjoy competitive fares and the best in travel. Book now at sunriseairways.net or with your travel agent. Sunrise Airways, One Caribbean. We fly to connect people. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sunrise Airways.
Each day, we see how unpredictable life can be. So let Nagico Insurances help you prepare and safeguard what matters most. We provide solid coverage you can depend on, like life insurance to provide financial security for those you love, medical that covers dental, vision, and preventative care, and auto insurance with comprehensive coverage so you can drive with confidence. For all your insurance needs, visit us at Nagico.com. Nagico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Monique Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements. Welcome back to the program. You're listening to The Edge. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program. The phone lines are open, and call us at 662-8674. That is 662-8674. Call in your voice to the conversation at hand. For those of you who are tuning in, we're on the topic of the MSR media citizenship reform actions taken by our government as well as the CBA program. We have our first call for this morning. We'll take this call.
Good morning.
Hello, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
I'm happy to be the first caller. I must applaud Ambassador for his contribution to the athletic team that will be representing St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean game, as well as the other sponsors, because numerous gave what they could to sponsor the athletic. Good luck and best of health.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program, offering best wishes to our athletes who will be participating in the 2025 Caribbean Games in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is the end of this month. We'll head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, I got cut off. I don't know the reason.
Oh, I think you hung up.
No, not at all. Because I wasn't even halfway.
Oh well, go ahead. I thought you hung up. I didn't realize that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so best of luck to all the athletes, and hope we come back with our goals or even silver. As it pertains to the CBI program, I must applaud the government for making the necessary adjustments to protect the CBI program, because we depend on it very much. And a lot, all of us in St. Kitts and Nevis. And even the opposition would agree, right? And it would be a shame, the opposition not assist government in having the CBI program strengthened. Anyone who is St. Kitts and Nevis blood, or even reside in St. Kitts, it would be a shame to see any one of us try to sabotage something that is a big help to all of us. And I know there are times that an attempt has been made to try to put a dark light onto the CBI program that would bring down the government, and that is not good, because all of us we depend on the success of the government and of the country, so that our livelihoods can be good, you know. And so I applaud the government for making the necessary readjustments. Last thing I have to say, it pertains to us looking after ourselves as kitchens and divisions and people worldwide. I mean, all of us don't have it when it comes to finance. And there's no telling when something will happen, whether to our health or to our house, our property where we live. And so it's very important. It's very, very important to be covered by insurance, whether it's medical insurance, life insurance, or property insurance. Because look at it. You might be paying $100 or $200 every month for the insurance. God forbid something happens that costs $100,000. You may not have to worry about having $100,000 to remedy your problem. But because you're covered by insurance, you are able to be taken care of. I'm an example. I was just discharged from the hospital with a serious problem. And if it wasn't for insurance, I wouldn't have been able to pay for the service. Do you understand? Many of us, we don't look at the bigger picture. I mean, what's $100 compared to $200 or $500 for a pair of slippers to a dance? Then when something happens to you, that $500 pair of sneakers cannot assist you in remedying your problem. But the $100 or the $200 that you pay every month covers you and takes care of either you or your family members.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla, for your contribution to the program. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone is open. Call us at 662-8674. Now, these 13 individuals losing their citizenship after knowingly withholding required investments is not just a legal matter, but an ethical one. And hence the reason why I made mention of integrity earlier. And citizenship, particularly when granted through economic means, must not be reduced to a transaction devoid of obligations. The blacklisting as well in this situation sends a message to international investment or to the international investment migration industry that St. Kitts and Nevis will not tolerate the dilution of its legal thresholds through backdoor deals and so-called special discounts. All of this is aimed at protecting the credibility of the program. Going back to MSR Media, is it reasonable for us to ask MSR Media if we were misled in terms of them investing here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Why didn't we do our homework before MSR Media was brought to St. Kitts and Nevis? Why didn't we look to see who were the actors or the people behind MSR Media? Perhaps a quick Google search would have done us well. For us to see who the actors are and what they are about. And when I say actors, I'm referring to those who are the owners and the managers or whatever of the MSR Media company or whatever you call it. But we went from having a wonderful relationship, making movies and all of these things, to this whole CBI and investment and all of these different issues. That, for me, is concerning. Very, very, very concerning. And of course, it raises a lot of questions. Now, I've said here that our government has taken steps to increase transparency of the program. Do I believe that there is more that could be done? Absolutely. Because we continue to ask questions in terms of applicants and the figures and all of that. Because you're talking about the citizenship, which is not something that we should take lightly. Citizenship is sacred and must be respected. And so whenever questions are asked to seek clarity, to ensure that we are all on the same page, those questions ought to be answered. Those questions ought to be answered with facts, with exactly what is going on. So while we note the improvements that have been made, of course, there are still questions. And we are hoping that the authorities will continue to address these questions in the interest of the credibility of the program and the accountability and the transparency of the program. Now, some of us may argue that, these actions taken will reduce the number of applicants and we're not going to get as much money from the program and what have you. But we knew from the beginning that CBI was never going to be our savior. It was never going to be this bottomless pit where you just get money from and it brings a steady flow of money into the economy. We knew that. We knew that from the very beginning. And at the same time, it is not wise for us to be so dependent on a program like this. To the point where we're now saying, well, look, we're losing applicants and we're losing money. No, this is not me being happy or rejoicing over that. But it shouldn't mean that we should not take steps necessary to ensure the credibility of the program. It shouldn't mean that we shouldn't take steps to ensure transparency when it comes to this program. Because the very same people who are saying no, or who are saying this, are the very same ones who are asking the questions. And rightly so. And rightly so. It's 11:37. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay with us.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
Make me some music. Listen, you hear the song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
Watch the creeper. Look out! Look out! This is it! Something new, something fresh, something exciting! Jump off show on ZIZ Radio with the man Chico. Yo! Every Monday to Thursday, Chico will be in the house with the 3 to 6 minutes. So tell your neighbors, tell your friends about this exciting show on ZIZ Radio, the Jump Off Show. Every Monday to Thursday, 3 to 6. Don't miss it. While the others give you some, we give you more. Right here on ZIZ Radio. Watch the creeper.
Tune in for Policing with You, a half-hour radio program every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join host as he focuses on crime, factors contributing to criminal activity, crime prevention, and how the community can assist the police in reducing crime. It's Policing with You every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join us.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program. The phone lines are open at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. For those of you who are just tuning in, I am on the topic of the CBI program and the actions taken by the government as relates to a number of people's citizenship. Well, investors, that is, their citizenship were revoked, and at least 2 marketing agents or international agents have been blacklisted. So, of equal importance is the termination of the government's agreement with MSR Media SKN Limited and MSR Hotels and Company Limited. While the private sector remains a vital partner in national development, partnership must be on mutual respect, lawful conduct, and tangible results. So a company that fails to meet contractual obligations, especially in high-impact areas like tourism, which is an area that we depend on a lot, which in turn would bring employment and culture, cannot expect to be shielded from scrutiny. Of course, people are going to ask questions, and rightly so. Attempts to deflect accountability through public relations, warfare, or unfounded allegations only serve to erode goodwill. Some will argue that these decisions, particularly the revocations, may invite legal challenges or stir diplomatic tension. Others may see the move as an attempt to sanitize the image of the CBI program after years of criticism. Both arguments may hold merit. However, governance is really about perfect choices. It is about principled ones. And in this instance, the government has made a principled stand. Citizenship must mean something. And the rules of engagement must apply to all. Not some, not a select few. So looking ahead, transparency and oversight must remain priorities. The ministry or the CIU must continue to strengthen their vetting processes, monitor agents rigorously, and ensure that the future investors are not only financially qualified, but ethically aligned with the values of St. Kitts and Nevis. We should not be in the business of just inviting people to St. Kitts and Nevis because they have $1 million or $1 billion. But we must ensure that these people are ethical and have the best interests of St. Kitts and Nevis at heart. Not to come here to abuse our country. Let's take a pin and head to the phone line. You have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I say something? Because the last time you cut me off. Anyway, the shoes on the foot now, so they want help for you.
I pray the Lord help you. I pray the Lord helps you. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. It's 11:45. And thank you for joining me on the program. 662-8674. That is 662-8674. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm on the topic of the actions taken by the government as it relates to the CBI program. We have a caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, man. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, caller.
How are you?
I am doing well. What about you?
Well, boy, it ain't just the CBI players they should be deported, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We should be looking at what's going on with these deportees coming into the island.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nuclear crime. You understand that one?
Yes.
We have a government there sitting down and waiting for the clash. But we ain't gonna tolerate that with them, you know. Because just tomorrow, you're gonna hear a cry in this country. Tomorrow. You understand that one?
Mm-hmm.
We look like we playing around with what's going on in the country. Donald Trump doing what he got doing. Up to now, they can't even call a town hall meeting and hear what petitions have to say. We ain't mean nothing. The Vincentian woman mean more than us. You see? Well, Devon, you have a good day, you know. Because teeth and tongue will tell.
All right, caller, you too, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You are listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. The phone lines remain open at 662-8674. It is 11:47, and we'll take your calls, a few more calls before we wrap up our conversation for today. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're speaking about the actions taken by the government as it relates to the CBI program. But the biggest thing for me is the vetting processes. You know, we shouldn't just be looking at investors because they look rich and they look like they could do this or do whatever. But these must be people who are ethical and people who we know have a good track record of delivering and of performing. You come here, you said that you were going to invest and you signed whatever agreement, whatever contract. And you basically took us for fools. And that ought not to be the case. That should not be the norm. But I want to put a question out there. I want to put a question, and I want for you, our listeners, to think about this. Ask yourself the question, or ponder on it. And maybe at a later program, we come back and we look at it. And you tell me what you think. How are we going to ensure that the people who are coming here to invest are coming with good intentions? How are we going to ensure that the people who are coming here to invest are coming with good intentions? Now, ultimately, the decisions made may prove to be a turning point, not just for St. Kitts and Nevis, but for the broader Caribbean region, where similar programs operate. Antigua, St. Lucia, I believe, Dominica. If sustained and matched by continued reform, they could become a blueprint for restoring confidence in a model that, when properly managed, can yield real benefits for small states and their people. The CBI program has been good to us over these last, 40 years? Have we been managing the program as we should? Have we been using the program as we should? Have we been ensuring transparency and accountability in the program as we should? That's also another question for us to think about. I do welcome the reforms and the actions taken, but these must be sustained. And what goes for one must go for all. And I hope this acts or serves as a learning moment for St. Kitts and Nevis. I hope that it serves as a learning moment for St. Kitts and Nevis as it relates to international investors when we're talking about MSR Media. I really hope so. Because what took place over the last couple of months in the public or in the media was devastating, to say the least. And it cast this dark cloud and dark shadow, a dark cloud over us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, of our country. We should not see this as something to rejoice over. Oh, well, let them deal with that now. It's them in government. I'm not subscribing to them kind of foolish thinking. I call it foolish thinking. St. Kitts and Nevis belongs to all of us. This is our home. It is not my home or your home. It is our home. It is our land, our country. The politics aside, I don't care whether you Labour, PAN, PLP, NRP, CCM, neutral or whatever. I don't care. Let's put that aside. At the end of the day, we should all be one people. Fighting for the common good and to protect our country from people who are coming to portray themselves as good. Let's take our final call for the morning.
Yes, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, it's good to investigate. Nevis never warned the man. We take him down and nobody investigate about the man. And that's why we end up like this year. What happened? Years upon years, people coming here, borrowing out all the money off the bank, and they get, so they're going to do investment, they're going to build this, they're going to build that. When you look, a month after hear them, so they're going to back out the country. We were born here, cannot get the money as we like. Our grandparents don't sweat so hard in cane field, whipped by the master. Some of them go tell them go home. They ain't got nothing to give the children weekend, and only was $1 in them days, you know. That time was not $5, $1. Sometimes I was selling and all them the 36 pence. 36 shillings, sorry, and this and that. And let me tell you, it's very embarrassing, telling you the truth this morning. For as a full-grown woman, that we got to reach to this. And some good who went in there after 6 months, let them bring back some of the money. After whoever get more money after that, let them bring back some of the money. The money was our money. We should have got a good hospital out the money, Boston, a good high school, of the money, technology school, that everything that fingertips. What we got today? Not bus carol. They went down yesterday breaking a ground. Now we end up who in there now before. That is somebody they don't sell the land to. They know what they did, you know. And they watch Dr. Joe saying on a building, the hospital down there. And knowing it was done sold out already. You know how much people who invest here say, if they know they were done enough to this, they would have just pull out and go back where they're going. Because of greed and selfishness, want to be rich themselves overnight, man, shame us. You see where we end up now? With this passport, you know what we're going to happen? We're going to be beggars. So here, it's America run us, other country run us. But what happened to us? The breadfruit chest, when you look at it, you can't even sit too good no more in a gut like before. They're asking all what happened to them. People say, man, when the weather comes, they get knocked down and nobody replant.
All right.
What happened to us? No potatoes, so we fully the potato in my gross like. Devonne, you just have a good lunch here.
You too.
All our we feel it, and all our we gonna knows it. Who get the bigger cut? Let them bring back some. Who went in, they could have got some house in before 20 years. Let them bring back something now when the money being Dubai and where. They told the door with a bit of demonstrate. You see what I'm saying? How the people take to the street in Israel with bullets and stuff. And everything in Gaza Street, people still have got a campaign. telling big shot them that behind the windscreen and come out and campaign with the poor person who willing to campaign. This thing ain't right.
All right, caller. Okay.
When the development bank with the plan, they tell me some cock and bull story a couple years after.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. We are out of time. We are out of time. We are at the top of the hour, and so we're going to have to break for the midday news and continue this conversation at a later date. But thank you so much for joining today's edition of The Edge. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And please, I beg of you, take it easy on the road. Coming up at noon is our midday newscast. Stay with us.